The largest investment, the largest expenditure that the average family makes is your home, real estate. It is therefore the largest possible blessing and the largest mess you can make. Buying it wrong, buying at the wrong time, not knowing what you're doing. And yet everyone says, buy a house, buy a house, buy a house, buy a house. As soon as you get like 4 years old, they start telling you to buy a house. If you are renting, oh Lord, you can't be a renter. Oh, renters are awful. Don't be a renter. Renters are bad. You don't want to be a renter, right? And you don't want to be a renter for the scope of your life, but there are times in your life when renting makes more sense than owning. And one of those times is when you're brand new and you're broke and you're young and you don't have any money. When broke people buy houses, you know what makes them? Broker. That's why they call them mortgage brokers. You get broker. When you're broke and you buy a house, Murphy moves in your spare bedroom. You know, that's the guy, if it can go wrong, it will. And he brings his 3 cousins, broke, desperate, and stupid, with him. The hot water heater goes out. The roof leaks. Dog gets run over in the street. Your life looks like a country song, you know? And it's what happens when you're broke and you buy a house. House is not a blessing for broke people. Because actually the month to month, month in and month out, it can be more expensive to own than to rent. Because if that $4,000 heat and air system goes out and you're a renter, you call the landlord and go, dude, your heat and air system's out. And they just send somebody magically over there to fix it, don't they? Isn't that interesting? But otherwise, you got to wring your hands and come up with $4,000. And that's very real stuff. So, to start with, let's just establish when it comes to real estate that renting is not a bad thing when you have a plan to get yourself together financially. You need to be out of debt. You need to have an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses. Then save up your down payment. But a lot of people get all hot and bothered and they say stupid stuff like, well, this is stupid. If you've ever said this, you were stupid. I've said it, I was stupid. When I said it, I was stupid, and when you said it, you were stupid. Are you ready for this? Well, you know, the house payment's the same as the rent payment, so why wouldn't I own? See, that's stupid. Because you left out the $4,000 heat and air system. You left out the taxes go up, and the insurance goes up. And you left out ... And so, you know, it's really not cheaper. And it is in the long run because houses go up in value. And in the long run, the payment, if you take a good fixed rate mortgage, doesn't go up and rent does go up. So in the long run, owning is a good idea. But on the short term, for the first year you own, it's cheaper to rent. Most cases, anyway. Well, you can't find people start coming around, they start throwing around all these absolute fatalism crap, and like I was forced. There's just nothing in this whole city. Like your city is weird or something. Or your city's, I mean, it's just everybody's got a place to rent. So when you buy and you put the house on a 15-year fixed rate mortgage, you basically have a forced savings plan. That's one of the benefits of owning. You also have, because, you know, as you're paying the principal down, you've got this money built into the house called equity. Your equity is what the house is worth minus what you owe on it. And the equity increases as you pay down the mortgage, obviously. It's also an inflation hedge. Now, most of you have not lived in inflationary times, but I remember inflationary times. When I got my real estate license in 1978, inflation was running 12% a year on houses. That meant a house went up 1% a month in cost or value. Cost if you were a buyer, value if you were a seller, right? And so if you own property and inflation kicks in, the primary element of inflation is housing. There's other stuff, car gas and cost of bread and that kind of stuff. But really, the cost of housing is your primary element. It's one of the largest chunks of inflation, and you are getting that to your benefit when you're an owner. And of course, your home grows tax-free up to $500,000. It's a tax-free investment. $500,000 married filing jointly is the profit you can make on a personal residence if you've owned it 2 years or more. That's pretty cool. So there's a lot of reasons to buy. When you get ready to buy, don't buy the top of the neighborhood. Buy the bottom range, the bottom half of the neighborhood. You'll get better appreciation there and a better chance of resale when you do get ready to move. And when I took my very first appraisal class in the real estate business, the guy teaching the class said there's 3 things that create value in real estate: location, location, and location. I have seen a single-wide mobile home sitting on a piece of dirt that brought over $1 million in Malibu, just north of LA. Yeah, and some of your really, really nice houses aren't worth $1 million. So that's all about the location. Now, it wasn't the mobile home that did that. It was the piece of dirt. It's freaking Malibu's expensive, you know. Per square foot, there's nothing more expensive in the U.S. right now than Manhattan. And so those of you that are our friends listening in New York, you got location, location, location. When you're picking out a home, if you can find something with a view, it's up on a little bit of a rise, a little bit of a hill, or in the case of Tennessee, or those of you out in the Rockies, up on a big hill, that view is worth. You ever heard of $1 million view? Yeah, that's where that saying comes from. People pay extra for a view. And if you're on or near the water. We have a little neighborhood right here just down the street from our office that's been there since I was a kid. It's 100 years old, you know. It's called Meadow Lake. Now, the lake is no more a lake than Flight of the Moon. It's a freaking pond, okay? It's a little bitty pond, but it's called lake because this builder built houses around it a bazillion years ago. The houses on one side of the street are, quote, on the lake. The houses on the other side of the street are not on the lake. You would not believe how much more the ones on this pond, lake, bring more than the ones across the street.